Among low milk supply, probably the most common question I get is, if baby's sleeping longer through the night, do I really need to get up and pump my breasts? This is a loaded question and it depends. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of the background, the best practice, and then we'll talk about what that means for you. Newborns for the first 3 months need to feed frequently, including overnight. Breast milk digests very quickly in about 90 minutes, so babies will often want to feed every 1, 2, or 3 hours as that breast milk is quickly absorbed into their digestive system. Overnight, waking frequently in the first 3 months is protective of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Babies on breast milk wake frequently, which keeps them waking you up to check on them when they're most vulnerable from a breathing perspective. Babies also are only getting breast milk, and so their full diet is a liquid diet. So they usually will take smaller volumes for the first 3 months because they have such a smaller tummy. Once a baby has a larger tummy size, is more active and more efficient at the breast, babies can often take a bigger volume and keep themselves full for longer, 2, 3, or 4 hours. So also, as babies reach closer to 6 months, they'll start taking table foods. This will also help them sleep longer because they're able to get more calories during the day. They have a larger tummy that can hold more volume, and it helps them sleep at night. So what about in the first few months when your baby's sleeping longer at night? What do you do? It really depends. If your baby is naturally sleeping longer on their own without any sleep training or other protocols, then their body is telling you, I have the capacity to take in enough calories in order for me to sleep. It also tells you that your breast has the capacity to make enough milk to keep them happy. Now, if you're sleep training, this is an unknown. If you decide to go through any protocol, sleep training again has kind of a different context around it, right? So you have cry it out on one end, you have gentle sleep training method on the other end. It can really mean a lot of different things to a lot of different families. But if you are asking your infant to sleep longer than they naturally would, then whether or not you have to get up to pump or breastfeed is really dependent on you and your body. So we have to go back to breastfeeding basics. Every person has a different storage capacity and ability to make milk in their breasts. Size does not indicate this. It's the glandular tissue inside which dictates this. A person with a large storage capacity can hold more milk in their breast at any given time and not feel uncomfortable with that milk sitting in there. They can also produce a pretty high volume. It may take their body longer to downgrade or downshift their milk supply because their body is still comfortable making that milk. A person with a smaller storage capacity feels uncomfortable sooner and can't make as much volume at any given time because there's no place for the breast to store that milk. So for a person with a large storage capacity, you may comfortably be able to go 4, 5, 6, 8, or even 10 hours without emptying your breast and still feel comfortable. A person whose storage capacity is 2 or 3 ounces may still need to get up in the middle of the night to pump to keep milk moving through their body, to prevent plugged ducts, and to tell their body that they still need and want that milk. Mothers with a smaller storage capacity will drop their milk supply much quicker as a preventative measure of plugged ducts and mastitis. So mothers with a smaller storage capacity, I usually will recommend, if your baby's asleep and you wake up full and engorged, pump off that milk to continue to tell your body that you want that supply. Now the difficulty is we may not know what your storage capacity is. We can have an idea with pumping. If you're able to pump 6 or 8 ounces, that's a pretty good storage capacity. If you normally pump 1 to 3 ounces, that's a smaller storage capacity. So that can help guide you for whether or not you need to get up to pump during the night if baby is sleeping longer, when you're asking baby to sleep longer and not when they're doing it on their own. Now, if you randomly, your baby's sleeping longer through the night and you're feeling uncomfortable, you get to decide. Do you want to get up? Do you want to pump with a hand pump? Do you want to pull out the double electric pump? Or do you want to keep a Haka or a silicone breast pump or a medicine cup or container next to your bed and just do a little bit of hand expression to keep yourself comfortable? That's kind of becomes a blurry line of how much of that milk do you need to pull off to make yourself comfortable, and do you think your baby is going to consistently be doing that? So again, we have a lot of questions when it comes to, do I need to wake up to pump? I hope you learned a little bit about the reason why and can help guide you in those decisions on your own. So again, if your baby's naturally sleeping through the night longer, you usually do not need to get up to pump or feed. Your body will regulate your supply as your baby continues to do that on their own. If you are doing a sleep training method, you need to decide, what size storage capacity do I have? Do I need to get up and continue to pump to maintain my supply and reduce my risk of plugged ducts? Or can I go a little longer and let my supply regulate longer because I have a bigger storage capacity where baby can get that milk during the rest of the day? So again, there are a lot of decisions to be made. You can go back and forth between them as you need to. As a true lactation consultant, the best recommendation is babies do not schedule well for the first 3 to 4 months. They need to feed frequently, including overnight, and feeding frequently overnight is protective of sudden infant death syndrome. So when at all possible, try to hold off on your sleep training until 4 to 6 months when they have a more mature sleep pattern and when they can schedule a little bit better. Now you know.